Hello and welcome back to Spooky English, the podcast for language learners who love a good ghost story. I'm your host, Jake, and this is episode 8.
And I'm Lauren. It's great to be with you all again. Jake, you seem extra excited today.
I am Lauren because today we're taking a trip across the United States to visit some of its most famous haunted locations. We're talking about places with dark histories and countless ghost sightings.
So lots of stories about creaky floors and shadows in the dark. As our listeners know, I'm the skeptic here. I prefer facts over feelings. But I'm ready to listen.
Perfect. Let's start in California, with a house so strange and so famous for its ghosts, it's known as the Winchester Mystery House.
Okay, I know this one. It was built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of the man who made the famous Winchester rifles.
Exactly. The story goes that after her husband and child died, Sarah visited a psychic. The psychic told her that her family was cursed by the spirits of everyone killed by Winchester rifles.
A curse.
Yes, to protect herself, she had to move west and build a house for these spirits. But there was one very important rule. She could never stop building. If the construction stopped, she would die.
So for 38 years, they built this house, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The result is a very strange building.
Strange is a good word for it. The house has staircases that lead to the ceiling, doors that open to a 2-story drop, and windows on the floor. The idea was to confuse the evil spirits.
Or perhaps Sarah Winchester was just a very creative, maybe eccentric architect who had a lot of money and a lot of grief. It doesn't automatically mean ghosts are real.
But what about the sightings, Lauren? Visitors and staff say they hear footsteps and whispers in empty hallways. Some have seen the ghost of Sarah Winchester herself, and others have seen ghostly construction workers still trying to finish their jobs.
Right.
On the internet, you can find videos from paranormal investigators who have spent the night there. They record voices, doors closing on their own, and lights turning on and off.
It's an old, large house. Old houses make noises, and videos can be edited. I'm still not convinced. What's next on your spooky tour?
Next, we travel to Colorado, to the Stanley Hotel. This is a beautiful historic hotel in the mountains, and it's famous for one big reason. It inspired Stephen King to write his horror novel, The Shining.
Okay, I'll admit that book and the movie are very scary, but that's fiction. What's the real story?
The hotel was opened in 1909 by a man named Freeland Oscar Stanley. He and his wife, Flora, are said to be two of the most active ghosts there. People see them dressed in old-fashioned clothes in the lobby, or they hear Flora playing the piano in the music room.
Playing the piano. Right. Maybe the sound is coming from another room. Hotels have thin walls sometimes.
Even when the piano lid is closed and locked? The most haunted room is said to be room 217. That's where Stephen King stayed. In 1911, a chambermaid named Elizabeth Wilson was injured in an explosion in that room. She survived, but her spirit is said to remain. Guests in room 217 report that their bags are unpacked for them. The lights turn on and off, and they feel a cold presence in the room. She's known to be a friendly ghost, just trying to do her job.
A helpful ghost. How nice. Jake, is there any proof of this? Any real evidence?
Well, many people who take pictures in the hotel find strange things in their photos. They see floating circles of light called orbs, or even shadowy figures in the background. If you look on the web, you'll find hundreds of these pictures.
Photographers will tell you that orbs are usually just dust or moisture on the camera lens. And our eyes are very good at seeing human shapes and shadows. It's called pareidolia.
Okay, what about the sounds? Ghost hunters visit with special audio recorders. They record hours of silence, and when they listen back, they hear voices answering their questions. They call it EVP, or electronic voice phenomenon.
Again, it's easy to misinterpret random noise as words, especially if you are hoping to hear something. It sounds interesting, but I need more than that. Where are we going last?
Our final stop is in Pennsylvania, at a place designed to create fear, the Eastern State Penitentiary. It was a prison that opened in 1829.
A prison? Well, I'm sure a place like that has a lot of sad and scary history.
It does. It was one of the first prisons to use solitary confinement. That means prisoners were kept completely alone all day, every day. It was supposed to make them feel sorry for what they did, but many people say it drove them crazy.
That sounds awful. I can see why the building would feel heavy.
It's more than just a feeling. The prison is now a museum, and visitors report incredible things. They hear laughing and crying coming from empty cells. They see dark figures that disappear when they get closer. A locksmith who was working there once felt a powerful, invisible force grab him.
The building itself is like a stone fortress. It's old, dark, and falling apart. Of course it's spooky. Our minds play tricks on us in places like that. We expect to see a ghost, so we do.
Maybe, but the stories from all three of these places are so similar and told by so many different people, it makes you wonder.
It definitely makes for interesting stories. And that's all the time we have for today's episode of Spooky English.
Thanks for joining us on our tour of Haunted America. Whether you're a believer like me or a skeptic like Lauren, we hope you had fun and learned some new English words.
We'd love to hear what you think. Do you believe in ghosts? If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe for more content. It really helps us out.
That's right. And be sure to check out our previous episodes for more spooky stories. We'll be back soon with another one. Until then, good night.